I should be like you, Melvin.
Ultimate on-demand destination for the UK's best fan-led football podcasts.
Want authentic supporter insight on all things Bournemouth? Follow Up the Cherries in all departments on the TalkSport Fan Network.
Club-dedicated content created by the fans, for the fans.
Search TalkSport Fan Network.
Good morning there, Cherries fans, and welcome back to Cherry AM. Hopefully the weather's a bit better where you are than where it is here, because it's currently raining. But always good to have you with us, Ollie. How are you doing this morning?
Yeah, fantastic, mate. Thanks for having me back again this morning. I can't say the same about the weather. Mine is fantastic and blue skies here. So it's unfortunate for you down there on the south coast.
Well, I do see a little bit of blue developing in the foreground there, so hopefully it might pass through. But yeah, welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us once again. We've got a few topics to discuss this morning. But firstly, there's someone already in the chat, and of course it's Malcolm. Malcolm, good morning, our good friend Malcolm. I hope you're well, and I'm sure that hopefully you'll enjoy this installment. Let's get cracking straight away then. So Ollie, we've had some good news. Well, one of our players has had some good news. He's currently away on international duty with Wales, but that's David Brooks, who's now expecting his first baby with his wife. Yeah, it's really happy story for Brooksy, this, isn't it?
Yeah, I think a really good story to start a Friday on, right? Some awesome good news. I think what we're on 4 years after his battle with cancer. And yeah, as of yesterday, him and his wife Flora have announced their first baby, which will be due November, which is interesting. So David Brooks has still got a contract with us until 2026. He's probably played around 80 odd games since the 2018-19 season. He's had about 12 goals for us during that time. So I just wanted to do a really big shout out for him. I think it's fantastic news, and a really big congratulations to him and his wife, really.
Yeah, no, definitely. And us all at the Cherries in all departments, obviously, congratulate them both. And it's lovely news. And like you just touched on there, after his cancer journey, it's lovely to see that this has happened, and we wish them all well.
Absolutely, yeah.
Let's discuss a little bit about the TST that's going on at the minute. Obviously, yes. Craig touched on it earlier on in the week. We've now played all the group games. We've obviously had 2 defeats at the start of the tournament, but last night we played and won convincingly 10-2. But the Wrexham game, Ollie, if we just quickly cover that one off, there was quite a few familiar names actually in the.
Yeah, it was. I'm not going to lie, I was quite surprised when I turned it on yesterday and did my catch up with it all. The game that I ended up watching was the Wrexham Red Dragons game against AFC Bournemouth, and we were represented by some huge names really in Bournemouth's terms, especially Bournemouth's history. Simon Francis was on the pitch, Tommy Elphick, Dan Gosling, Harry Arter made an appearance. And then on the Wrexham side, even more interesting, Mark Albrighton, Aaron James, George Boyd. Not many people may have heard of him from Walthamstow, I believe, FC. And he was an incredible player. Last night on the pitch, must have been maybe from 7-a-side or 5-a-side experience, or maybe his futsal days, but he was absolutely storming the pitch last night against Bournemouth, and incredibly impressive to watch. But I think TST as a whole, the game itself is just exciting, right? It goes from 7 versus 7 down to 6 versus 6, 5 versus 5, and I think in that game specifically, it was down to 3 versus 3. You know, when you've got Simon Francis and Tommy Elphick on the pitch and one other player. As a Bournemouth fan, it's exciting to watch. It's a new type of game structure. It's a new type of tournament for me, and it's nice to be involved in it. But as you said, we finally got a win last night out of the group stages, and that has meant that we've got the best points for a third place team. Is that right? Yeah. And we've now gone through essentially to play today in the round of 32 against Pumas de Alabama, which will be at 12:45, so a bit later on.
Yeah, we'll be tuning in for that. Funny you mentioned Tommy Elphick, because I don't know if anybody that's watching may have seen some of the footage, but the first game, Tommy actually scored, and it was a lovely cheeky little kick over the goalkeeper. So it's good to, like you say, it's great to see all these names and these heroes, legends.
What I'd be interested to know is, so I know that the attendance is pretty good for TST. I know there's a lot of American fans out there for these teams that are out there playing. I'd be interested to know how many Bournemouth fans are following TST, are watching it from home, are keeping kept up to date with it. How much is this impacting people now the Premier League's off?
Yeah, and to be fair, it's been nice to. Obviously, there's not a lot of pressure there. It's not a case of trying to stay up and avoid relegation or compete for Europe. It's just nice to watch some football with some former legends, and that's the way I'm seeing it anyway. And it's been quite enjoyable, and it's nice that like you said, the game is very fast paced, and roll on, roll off subs. It's great. It is really great. I've thoroughly enjoyed what I've seen so far. I've watched a couple of the other games as well that are just like random ones that have been on in and around the time that Bournemouth have played. I knew nothing about the tournament until obviously the club announced that they were going to compete in it. So I never heard anything about it. But since watching the tournament this week, it looks like it's fairly a new tournament, sort of like 3 years or so, something like that. But it seems to have grown bigger and bigger and bigger every year. What I thought was quite interesting is the golden. Is it the golden fleece they call it? So if you score the goal, you get this golden scarf, and you can just.
And I think what's interesting as well is the fact that they've obviously gamified it like that anyway. But you've got some interesting teams in there, right? You've got West Ham, Bournemouth, Wrexham, Plymouth, but then you've got #United. You've got Newtown Pride FC. You've got Sneaky Fox 97. You've got teams here that are really trying to bust out for. I think the prize is £1 million.
That's right. Yeah, winner takes all.
So £1 million prize, and you've got 7-a-side teams that are playing in local London caged games as such, and they're out in America playing against the likes of Tommy Elphick and Frano and Mark Albrighton. It's a fascinating setup that I think someone's put a really good bit of time and effort into sorting that out in America, and I think they've really hit the nail on the head with something there.
Yeah, no, definitely. Just before we carry on, good morning, Nick. Hope you're well. And it is now starting to become like sunny Bournemouth. So yes, hopefully we'll be in for a nice day. Hope you have a great day. And hello to Chris. How are you doing? Hope you're well as well. Thank you for joining us. So last night, obviously 11 p.m. we had the fixture against what was the team's name?
It'd be Real Atletico.
That's it, Real Atletico. Yes, there's some crazy names in this tournament. But yes, last night I did managed to catch it last night, and it was a 10-2 victory for Bournemouth, and that has now, like Ollie's just said, put us through to the knockout stages. But last night we had some goals from Brett Pittman. He scored 20. Charlie Daniels, Tommy Elflick popped up with a goal, and then there's one of the guys that have made the team up, because obviously there's other players in there as well. Is his name Junior Russo or something like that? He scored 4 times in that one.
Talking of juniors, I did see Stanislas make an appearance yesterday at the Wrexham game as well.
Yeah, juniors part of the squad. So Sean Cooper, Harry Arter.
Yeah.
There's it's great to see those, players from a decade ago that were so important.
That's again, it's just fascinating, isn't it? It's fascinating to see them all come back together, and to see those names on a team sheet again. I just didn't think the day would come where you can put all those names back together. Rolling on, rolling off subs in the sunny American summer, playing 7 versus 7. Yeah, I just think it's a really awesome idea.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. And guys that are watching, what do you think? Do you think Bournemouth have now got a good chance of winning this tournament? Now we're in the knockout stage. Who cares about the first 2 games? Now you're in the knockout stage. Anything's possible. So yeah, drop it in the comments. Is there a good chance we could win the TST tournament? Be good if we could, but I think it's going to be quite a difficult one. Sorry, Ollie, who are we playing today? Sorry, you did say
we're playing Pumas de Alabama at 12:45.
At 12:45, right? So I shall be tuning in for that one, definitely. Just a quick one as well, just before we carry on. I don't know if anybody's seen the new Premier League ball that's been released this week. It's going to make its debut at the Summer Series. Now, as it was announced a little while ago, Nike have actually lost the rights to the Premier League ball. It's now switched to Puma. And there's some interesting information and pictures of the new ball out there. So just wondering what everybody thought of it. So if you've seen the ball, just drop some info in the comments. Give us your thoughts. Obviously, Puma are already producing the ball for the EFL, also used in the Carabao Cup. It's going to make its debut at the Summer Series, and obviously Bournemouth are taking part in that. So we shall shortly see the new Premier League ball in action. So just thought I'd chuck that one in there. If you have seen it, got any opinions on it, just drop it in the comments.
And I imagine we'll do a show on the Summer Series, won't we? Because we've got 3 exciting games over in America again, haven't we? And
yes,
something like that.
Yeah, there's definitely going to be some coverage on that. Obviously through Cherry FM, Cherry AM. And I'm sure there'll be some potentially some other shows around that as well. So
I would imagine so.
Yeah, no, there will be. So a little bit interesting coming out from the club. There's obviously a new positions being advertised, isn't there? Which you've had a look at, Ollie. Academy, and I think they're potentially looking at probably working these positions, helping the club work its way to that sort of grade 1 academy status.
Absolutely, yeah. So after doing a little bit of research, they've got 3 or 4 roles in regards to scouts and analysts, and as you quite clearly mentioned, there's a whole reason behind this. So for us to be a category 1 academy, we actually need a minimum of 18 full-time staff, including coaches and medical personnel, admin staff, all at the academy. Obviously, currently, where we went from a level 3 down to a level 2, we only actually had about 18 in there. So I think the rush to increase the amount of headcount, increase the amount of scouting talent we've got, increase the amount of analysts that we've got working with the talent that we're bringing in is absolutely a necessity for us moving forward. For us to hit that grade 1 academy, there's also other things that are typically involved, like high levels of funding, which again we've now got. Focus on developing elite players, which again we've quite clearly seen that not necessarily through our academy, but through our coaching and our squad development. We're bringing players in, we're increasing the value of them, turning over a huge ton of revenue and getting them back out the door. So whatever we're doing is right at the moment. So yeah, if there is anyone listening or anyone who knows anyone else interested, by all means, please do head over to the AFCB website and you'll see all the roles on there.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Interesting to keep an eye on that, and obviously see what progresses. And I don't think personally it'd be too long before the club hits that Category 1 status. And I think things for the club in terms of youth side is extremely exciting and very promising. That we'll be able to attract the best players locally and from across the country and even the world. So very, very exciting times for us there. Just while we're sort of touching on the youth academy, a former player that came through the youth system at Bournemouth, Josh McCoy, he has just signed for Wimborne Town, which is interesting. He's left Weymouth, after a sort of 6-7 year season. I think he's spent there, and he has moved to Wimborne Town. So always good to keep
being much more local.
Yes, it's always good to keep an eye on former players. And obviously we've touched on Brett Pittman. He's had a short spell at Dorchester recently. So it's always good to keep an eye on former players. And so that's just a extra little bit of news there to chuck in. But so if anyone that watches Wimborne on a regular basis or keeps an eye on local non-league football, Josh McCoy is signed for Wimborne Town. So just quickly go through the comments very quickly. Joe, good morning to you. Thank you for joining us. Chris, I think I've done that one. Sorry, Chris, but great to have you with us. Right, the Premier League ball. It's okay, the new Premier League ball. Right, so Chris has seen it. I've seen it. I've read up on it. And I think it's quite it looks quite exciting. It's quite jazzy design, so it's always good. Malcolm, when is the summer series? There is a date for it. I did have it written down somewhere, Malcolm, to be honest. Where did I have it written down? 1 second. I think the first game for us is the 26th of July against Everton, which is a 9 p.m. UK time kickoff, I believe. Don't quote me on that. You might just have to double check it. But I believe it's the 26th of July, 9 p.m. kickoff. Sorry, Chris has confirmed that. Yeah, thank you for that, Chris. Good morning, Doug. Hope you're well. I'm sure you're still very, very happy after Liverpool winning the Premier League. Be good to catch up with you soon, buddy. Thank you for dropping in. We're just going to touch on the ladies very quickly. Obviously, had a very, very successful season. Their league table has actually come out, hasn't it, this week?
Yes.
And there's some interesting teams in there. As well, isn't there? I mean, obviously, there's ourselves. We've got AFC Wimbledon, Billericay Town, Cheltenham, Exeter, Hashtag are in there. I think Oxford United ladies are in there.
That's right. Yeah, Watford ladies.
I think it's a 12-team league, isn't it?
That's right. Yeah. Tier 3, 12 teams.
So and after the last couple of seasons has been excellent. The season before last, obviously, the guys just missed out on the promotion, and last year, unbeaten, and unfortunately didn't win the treble, but won a very convincing double. This one's going to be quite a big test for them, though, Ollie, this season.
I think this is a good one to discuss and maybe delve into a bit further in the future. I think this is going to be a serious test for them. I think again, where Bournemouth men's team have had their turbulent ups and downs, we've really felt it, and I think the women's team have got that coming, but their shoot to success over the last 2 seasons, it's going to be hard. It's going to be a real tough struggle for them, and I think they have to keep pulling themselves together. We've got a couple of real awesome girls in there that are fantastic players. So I don't have any doubt, but as you've mentioned with the teams and the league table, AFC Wimbledon Oxford United, Watford, crikey, there's some really good female teams, and I think we're going to really struggle against some of them. But again, it comes down to Bournemouth as a whole, right? And I think the faith and trust that we've got in the development squad and the recruitment team and everything that we're doing on the men's side, I think there's just as much focus going into the female side at the moment. So, yeah, I think it's very exciting. Again, something that I'm definitely going to be keeping on top of and watching thoroughly, whereas I may not have done in previous seasons, to be honest.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I'm sure there's going to be some more exciting games at the Vitality Stadium next season as well. Hopefully they get to play there a few times again, because they've had some excellent crowds this season. So, yeah, looking forward to following their progress next season, definitely. And I'm sure they're gonna make an impact. I know it's going to be a difficult season, but I'm sure they're
I think we were going to mention it, but shout out to Steve Cuss as well. I think testament to his ability and tenacity to really grow something and develop something. I had a bit of experience working under him back in, crikey, 2012, 2011 maybe. And he was fantastic back then, and that was the community support team back at Bournemouth. And since then, he's obviously been well involved with the academy, with the building of the new facilities over the last few years, then over at Wimborne Town, doing a number of bits there with our academy players, and then coming back over to AFC Bournemouth and now heading up the female team. Yeah, I a lot of time and respect for Steve Cuss, and I really love what he's done and what he's doing moving forward.
Yeah, no, definitely. And you could talk obviously firsthand. I mean, how would you describe him then as a coach? What kind of motivates him, and how does he get the best out of players? That's quite an interesting one. As you've worked.
I mean, a first-hand experience. I was lucky to have a bit of it. There wasn't a crazy amount. He was stern. Okay, that was definitely something I remember him being stern for sure. There was no messing around or no egos in the training room or on the training facilities for sure. You're there to knuckle down, and I think that's one of the best ways he gets the best out of you. He really makes you see the potential and understand what you're there for, rather than it just being a turn up, show and play kind of thing. You're there for a one dream, one vision kind of thing. And yeah, you've got to put the effort in when you're under people like that really care about the job, that really are passionate about the role. You don't want to be disappointing, right? So I think that's what he's probably got the best out of the girls team, is a level of dedication and commitment that has solidified the team and got us to where we are now.
Yeah. I mean, just quickly, sorry, before we go on, there's a comment there from Malcolm. There is going to be a lot more interest in the academy and ladies teams this coming season. I think he's absolutely spot on, because the academy team also had a fantastic season. There's a lot of talented players in our academy, which is excellent to see and watch. Have you caught any of the academy games that have been on like AFCB TV and things like that?
I haven't, no, but me and Craig did bring up a couple of academy players on Cherry AM a couple of days ago. If you want to go and check that out, I think it was Tuesday or Wednesday morning. And it was just in regards to if our defensive line seriously tanked, our recruitment didn't go very well, what would be our backup through the academy in regards to defensive players? And there was a couple of options that came up for centre backs. James Hill is obviously going to be a big replacement, but to replace him from our actual academy, I think there was 2 or 3 players that were discussed on that episode. We have to keep focusing on it, right? I think if we're going to be this development squad, this revenue churning squad, this building squad, we have to focus on our academy. And yeah, I'll have to go back and watch and catch up on some of these matches for sure.
Yeah, because there is a lot of talent in this.
Absolutely.
Just obviously looking forward to the new Premier League season. The fixtures will be announced. They have announced, haven't they? On the 18th of June, Wednesday, the 18th of June, at 9 a.m. They're going to release the fixtures for the upcoming season. So on the 18th of June, there will be a special Cherry AM where we'll be live as the fixtures go live. So yeah, make sure you join us on the 18th of June for reaction to the fixtures list. In terms of the fixtures next season, Ollie, I'm kind of really excited about next season. So I can't wait. I'm itching to find out, who we're going to start against and what the potential end of season running is. Because just on the back of last season, we just want that progression to really continue, don't we?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I don't think there's any second thought in a Cherry's mind, right? We want the progression to continue. We want the momentum to continue. We want the energy to consistently be there. I think one of the important things is now that we know Iriola, there isn't the concern of the first season where it was much more turbulent. We now understand where Bournemouth are heading. I think even if recruitment and the transfer window doesn't necessarily go our way, we still have a very good rudimental foundation built from this season to head into that season and be confident. So yeah, I echo your words entirely. I'm super excited for the season, super excited to see the fixture list, and I think this is going to be a real exhilarating season to follow. I think next season could be big for us.
Yeah,
could be big for us.
Yeah. If you look at how we've progressed over the last 2 seasons, definitely.
Yeah. I mean, look at Forest.
Yeah,
They've. I would say that they are probably a season ahead of where we are at the moment, or where we want to be. If we can look at that and take that into consideration, then that's what we can be excited for.
Yeah, no, definitely. That is probably the best comparison, really, that you've actually pulled out there. In an ideal world, if you could pick your first sort of 3 fixtures for the start of the season, who would you like to face?
I think I'd quite like a United out of the way. A Man United out of the way would be pretty good for me. And then, see, I think I'd start off heavy all the time in my head. I'd start off with a United Tottenham Villa. and really put us in the deep end of being like, look, you've had your pre-season, you've had your fun with your TST, you've had all this other media coverage and everything else that we haven't usually had previous seasons. Let's really see how much buzz and fire that's given our boys. Let's chuck you in at the deep end and see if we can get 6 out of 9 points in our first 3 hard games. Because imagine the impact of the start of the season. Imagine if we came away beating some big teams immediately. We'd instantly put the fear into other teams like we did last season from the very get-go. I think that'd just be exciting.
Yeah, no, I echo that. Actually, that's a very good point. I mean, guys, watching this, I mean, who would you like to face in your first sort of 3 games of the season next year? And like I just said, stay tuned to Cherry AM, because on the 18th of June, when the fixtures are released, we will be having a live special. But that's kind of wrapping up the first week of Cherry AM. Craig and Ollie will be back Monday morning, 8 a.m. with some other talking points and discussion points. But just a big thank you from us all for tuning in this first week. It's been great. We love the interaction. So thank you very much. And just quickly, a couple of comments before we go. Cheers, guys. Yeah, another great channel there. If you haven't subscribed, just please subscribe to those guys as well. Joe, thanks for tuning in. Chris Hubble, thank you for that, mate. Much appreciated. Take care, buddy. And of course, Malcolm, you have a great weekend as well. We'll speak soon. But yeah, so that's wrapping up the first week. Like I say, it's been great. We've appreciated everybody getting involved and interacting. And like I say, Craig and Ollie will be back on Monday morning with next week's editions of Cherry AM. But until the next one, guys, take care. Have a great weekend. And we'll see you all in the next one, as we like to say. So, cheers. Catch you soon.
The TalkSport Fan Network.
The ultimate on-demand destination for the UK's best fan-led football podcasts.
Want authentic supporter insight on all things Bournemouth? Follow Up the Cherries in all departments on the TalkSport Fan Network.
Club-dedicated content created by the fans, for the fans.
Search TalkSport Fan Network.
I should be like you, Mel.